Today's gospel reading is Seek and You Will Find. And the title is, If you help yourself, then heaven will come to your aid. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Or what man is there of you, whom if his son ash bread, will he give him a stone? Or if he ash a fish, will he give him a serpent? If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your Father which is in heaven give good things to them that ask him? And that's Matthew 7, verse 7 to 11. So Kardec explains in the next few items that from an earthly point of view, this maxim, seek and you shall find, is the basis of the law of work and consequently of the law of progress, because progress is a child of work and puts into action the force of intelligence. So this made me think of the verbs that are used in the verse: ask, seek, and knock. And if you notice the three senses that are being considered here, and this is just my interpretation of them. Asking is verbal. We are to use prayer and other means of communication to ask our questions to God and the spirits and to communicate our needs and desires. And then we're also to seek with our minds. That's more than asking, it's setting an intention and a priority and also focusing of the heart. And then to knock involves physical action. So although asking and seeking is important, they would be incomplete without knocking. In other words, it's important to pray and seek, but we also have to act in ways that we're learning and that emulate what we're learning. So just to go back to what Kardec says in his further explanations, he says that through man's research, his intelligence high, who daily leaves the earth, were never to return, then humanity would be constantly renewing itself with primitive elements, having everything still to relearn. And there would be no reason why man should be more advanced today than he was during the first eras of the world, because at each birth all intellectual work would have to restart. So he continues that by returning with the degree of progress realized, and acquiring something more each time, the soul then gradually evolves to a moral civilization. And that refers, he goes on to talk more about the law of work, and that if God had exempted man from physical bodily work, his limbs would have withered, and if he exempted him from intellectual work, then his spirit will remain in a state of infancy. So he made work a necessity. Seek and you shall find. Work and you shall produce. In this way you are the product of your work, and you will receive the merit of it and a reward in accordance with what has been done. And then he says in the next section that it's by virtue of this principle that spirits do not help in sparing us the work of research by bringing us discoveries and inventions ready for use, without any thought or work or inconvenience whatsoever. So if things were like that, then the laziest could enrich themselves with no cost or effort. And they would have these merits attributed to them for things they haven't done. So he says, no, spirits do not come to exempt man from the law of work, but only to show him the goal to be reached and the pathway that leads there, by saying, walk, you will get there. You will find your path strewn with stones. Look upon them and move them. And this line actually reminded me of a beautiful quote I read recently in a book called Why People Don't Heal and How They Can. It's by Carolyn Myss. She also wrote Sacred Contracts. And the quote is, and it really helped to calm my mind, especially when I'm always asking questions about why and seeking. The quote says, where is it? Our lives are made up of a series of mysteries that we are meant to explore, but that are meant to remain unsolved. We are meant to live with the questions we have about our lives. even use them as companions, and allow them to lead us into the deepest recesses of our nature, wherein we discover the sacred. So this ties in nicely with asking questions about our lives and using them as motivation to seek. And this will eventually lead us to God. And as Kardec says, this will take many, many lifetimes. So the quote also reminded me of Christina's talk a couple of weeks ago when she was talking about faith, blind faith versus intelligent faith. And that intelligent faith comes from research and learning and reasoning and seeking. And then lastly, Kardec says that from a moral point of view, these words of Jesus signify that if we ask for the light, which will show us the way, it will be given. If we ask for strength to resist evil, we shall receive it. If we ask for assistance of the good spirits, then they will come to accompany us and guide us. If we ask for good counsel, it shall not be refused. If we knock on his door, it will be opened. But we must ask with sincerity, faith, confidence, and dedication, and we must present ourselves with humility.